Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on your time zone. How are you doing today? Do hope you're doing great. I am Marie Ulimaki, transformational life coach. And every Wednesday we have our relationship and marriage nuggets. And today we'll be talking about how our relationship with our spouses, how they impact our children, the future. It's very vital. God has given us children as a blessing, and God has given us parents to bear the responsibility for the upbringing of our children. Every person is unique. God created us differently, but parents have their own role to play for their children to be able to walk in alignment with that which God has originally embedded in them. Our character have an influence on our children, and we impact the future in one way or the other. So we need to be very conscious in our relationship with our spouse and our children, because children look at parents as role models. We are their role models. And what we do get embedded in their mind, especially those between 0 to 5 years. Sometimes you may not realize that what you're doing, they are saying, they are copying. But if you're very conscious and vigilant, you will realize that they are repeating the same thing that they see daily, and it will become a character in their life. When they grow up, for instance, with parents who smoke, they will understand that smoking is part and parcel in life. When they grow up with parents who gossip, they know that that is the norms in life. When they grow up with parents who are brutal, who practice domestic violence, physical violence, mental violence, it will impact them. They will believe that either their mom or their dad need to be treated from what they saw. It psychologically have an impact in how they will react also to their spouses in the future. If they realize that their parents, they cheat, they query, they argue all the time, they will believe that that is how relationship needs to be. We as parents have the responsibility to train our children in a godly manner, that they will spring up the godly ordained talents and inbuilt things the Lord has deposited in them. We as parents are there to help bring up and build up those things, not to destroy it. We really need to be very conscious of the words we speak to our spouses, especially when the children are around. Of course, there is no relationship without differences. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have a difference with your spouse, it is very important for it to be done where the children are not aware, where the children are not present. Not to raise your voice before the children to your spouse. It's wrong, absolutely wrong. They will grow up with that mentality that a woman or a man need to raise the voice in order to speak to the other or to query, to fight. We really need to be very conscious. I'm talking with practical examples. For instance, I have a toddler. She just turned 2 this August. I'm amazed at the things she does. There are some things I did just once, and I could realize her doing that same thing after a while. I was shocked, and I was like, when I did that, I didn't even notice she was watching. But when she acted the same way I did, I could now recall that she watched what I did. And it wasn't like few days, it was months ago. I was also amazed how she could retain the things and was able to do it, just like what I did. It gave me that notion that we really need to be very careful with any word we say, whatever action we do, we need to be very careful. And when parents have rules, one thing they need to do is both parties, the husband and the wife, need to stick to those rules. When you have given the order of those regulations, those laws for the children, let us not breach it. Let one of the parents not breach it. If they have said TV time ends at 7 and one child is crying, let the other one not won't breach it in order to please. It will not work. It will make the child believe that this other one is supportive and this other one is not. And sometimes it makes the children really naughty. But if both of you align with the same words, same actions, when they say daddy say no, it should be no. Mommy should come and say no. Same thing. If daddy has approved something, mommy should not go behind and disapprove before the children. We need to agree on the basic norms, basic rules for the children to follow. That will impact them and they will understand that that is how it's supposed to be. Cooperation is very necessary. Our tone, we really need to wash out our tone. The way we speak to our children, the way we speak to our spouse, the way we speak to people, even in the phone, it has an impact with the children. They will believe that that is it. For instance, our African community, we would like speaking in a loud tone. And sometimes when you're speaking, your child may think you're shouting at the child. We really need to speak in a way. There are moments, of course, that authority comes, but that authority shouldn't come through your tone by raising your tone. Your facial action will know when you are really serious about something and when you are cherishing something. For instance, even with my toddler, when I'm really serious for her to do something, my facial expression tells better than my tone. Even with my son, I learned that because whenever I spoke, I had this high tone. He would think I'm shouting at him, whereas it was just the high tone I had. I had to learn to speak in a low tone with him and practice speaking in a low tone with other people so that he will not think all the time I am shouting. Whereas I may just be expressing something. So our tone also matters. Our action matters. We really need to avoid bad attitude, bad behavior before our children. It will impact them greatly in the future. We see nowadays high level of divorce. Most of it is as a result of childhood embedded wounds children had, which has impacted their mental state, the way they look at life. And because that attitude, they have not been counseled or they have not gone for a therapies to really clear out those embedded wounds and pain, they grow up with that pain and transfer it to their own relationship. That is why it's common to realize a pattern which may occur in different relationships. You realize that the pattern occurred when your parents were small and when you grew up. Maybe you did not correct it. The pattern continued in your own marriage. And if you don't correct that pattern, your children will copy it and they will apply it in their future marriage. And if they don't correct it, that is how it will go from generation to generation. And those are the things the enemy take advantage of it and builds strongholds. And now come now through some spirits now take now advantage of it and now afflict that children and family from generation to generation to generation. What I'm trying to say is our relationship with our children, our spouses, and those around us matters a lot. We really need to be conscious of our actions, be conscious of the words we utter, be conscious of how we treat from the house to outside, because it will impact our children. And if not corrected, generation to generation, we have the same negative impact. Parents, I know we got a lot of bills to pay. We got a lot of things to handle, but we need to develop that cordial, friendly relationship and create time for our children. Because when we spend time with them, they feel loved, they feel cherished. We make them our friends. Let your children be your best friend so that they will be able to express themselves whenever they are hooked up. As they grow, they develop the confidence in that relationship and trust. And you will see them growing in it. And they will not hide things from their parents. They will be open to them. And as we are educated, we would educate them and give them the right doctrine, not to go outside to get wrong doctrine. And we start regretting when they start behaving funny. We start complaining. Whereas the fault has been ours. We have neglected them. We have not given them our time because we are engaged in 3 different jobs, not having time for them. So whatever they learn from outside is what they implement and apply in their mind. And they believe that is how life needs to go. We need to work, but we need to create time to be with our children. And we should be very conscious of whatever activity, attitude, response we have, especially when dealing with children, for they will copy and it will impact them and their generation. Thank you for watching. If you have any challenge in relationship, I'm a life coach, and that marriage and relationship is one of my specialty. God bless you. If you enjoyed it, you can share it and have a blessed day. I also had that in my book about relationship, managing relationship in Healing Storehouse, Unlocking Soul Gates. So those who have not purchased that book, I will encourage you to get a copy. Thank you for joining us and God bless you. Have a blessed day. Bye.